Hello, and once again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK EU podcast and YouTube channel. And we are joined today by the lovely Tatiana. Tatiana, how are you doing today?
I'm very, very excited to be here. I'm doing great and grateful for you, Sister Kate, for having me on your show.
Oh, it's my pleasure because again, excited. I find myself in this amazing position that I'm able to find out about people's story and how the magic of the lineage work in their life. And just to give a little bit of background, it's particularly interesting because I'm going to be asking you why you decided to become a guide in the lineage. And just for those of people out there that don't know, becoming a guide in the lineage of King Solomon, the Modern Mystery School, only a few that apply to become a guide actually get accepted, and they've done a lot of work on the path, and they're very committed and dedicated. So congratulations to you on becoming a guide. And
Thank you so much.
can you tell us a little bit about why you wanted to become a guide? I mean, did you always want to become a guide, or is it something that has transpired along the way? Yeah, what has been your experience?
Yeah, I would love to share. Actually, I feel like everybody has a little bit of a different story, and mine really is a story of the path of progression. So I did not always want to be a guide. When I first found the Modern Mystery School in the lineage of King Solomon and this path, I did not have any desire to really serve others. I was in a place where I was in my 20s, and I was just figuring out life for myself, how to take care of myself, what career I wanted. I still had so many questions in the air about who I was. Really, I had no idea who I was. I had no idea how to answer those questions. And I was seeking those answers in a lot of different places. Some of them not so healthy, I would say, experimenting with lots of different things when I was younger. And as I found the path and received my life activation, and shortly after my first Empower Thyself initiation, things just started transforming in my life. It's like the magic started working. And, some people say, well, wouldn't you have gotten there anyway without this path? And one thing that I noticed after being on the path now for 15 years is that this is a accelerated way to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish in your life that are for the highest good and in the highest alignment with yourself. So yeah, maybe you could get to a place like that on your own through a lot of, detours and a lot of figuring things out. But the way that the path guides you, it almost guarantees a certain outcome and a certain success, if you will, in your life. So once I received that first initiation, that Empower Thyself, which we really talk about as the service to self initiation, I built the foundation of my life. I filled my cup. I, I got into a place in my life where I said, okay, I'm looking around and I feel good. I feel like a responsible adult. I have a career. I've bought my own home. Like things are good. And I felt the desire for more. I said, okay, I've accomplished some things. I felt the desire for more. I said, my cup is so full and I feel so good. I'd like to do something to give back to others. I'd really like to serve others. So in the beginning, that didn't exist. And then this possibility, this opportunity opened up to me. So being on the path of progression and really enjoying the results that I was seeing in my life and the magic that was happening in my life, I went to the next step, which is the second step initiation, which is about service to others. I received the Life Activation Practitioner training, became a practitioner, and started to work with this holy modality, life activating people the same way that I was life activated. And what got me, on this beautiful path of transformation and self-discovery. And so I did that for a while. I've been kind of slow on the path. Some people go through it, but I started in my 20s and I was just, I took my time and really went through the process, I feel like, pretty thoroughly. And everybody has their own path. You have to follow your way. So after I received that second step initiation, I started life activating people. It was like a beautiful unfolding of a new version of myself, like a flower that just started blossoming more and more and more, and I couldn't believe it. And at the same time, I also did other programs in the school, like the Kabbalah program, the Kabbalah for Kabbalist program. I've done a lot of the different classes, and with every program and every class came another transformation, another unlocking of certain potentials that weren't there before. So it was like this expansive growth that was constantly, in my perspective, aligning me with the best version of myself that I could be. So after a while of being a life activation practitioner and really getting back into the path again, because I was craving something more. So this is good. I'm helping people, but I feel like there's more. Like I could be doing even more. I know it sounds crazy, but this came to me. And so I basically, through this desire and through this, I guess you would say it's a calling, received some higher guidance that went something like this. You're doing a great thing by being a real estate and a mortgage professional. You're really serving people in a good way, right? But is that the highest and best use of your time here on earth? Knowing what you know as an initiate in the lineage of King Salomon, walking this path of know thyself that some people have been fortunate enough to find, but others have yet to be able to find, or have yet to be able to find anything that really sparks the fire within them or gives them that opportunity for higher purpose. So the message was like, what are you doing? And what are you going to do? Because I live in Florida, in Naples, Florida. And in Florida, we have over 1 million real estate professionals licensed. So it's like, okay, I can be one of the million, right? There's a million other people that can do what I do here. But how many other people are there in the state of Florida, in the United States, in the world as a whole, that can touch somebody's soul and ignite that fire within somebody's soul and give them the gift of expanding their awareness and finding out that there's more to life, that it's not just this matrix, it's not just the mundane routine, it's not just the checking off the boxes of life. You go through, you check off the boxes, you're like, okay, I've made it. And at the end of checking off the boxes, you get there and you're like, there's still more. What didn't I get? Where is this arrival point? So I feel like that's what the path did for me. It got me to that point beyond my understanding, the point that I knew existed, but I didn't know was there until I got there. And honestly, that transformed my life. It put me in so much peace, so much joy. I quit drinking alcohol. Like my state of mind, my energy field, everything is just in such a stable, pure, clean place. And I'm so grateful. So from that gratitude came the calling to serve as a guide. And I actually resisted it for a while because it is a huge responsibility. And I feel like for me, I pushed through it. I said, this is something that I actually owe myself and I owe the world to step into this service and to share this beautiful path with others. One of the other things that really came to me through my journey is trying lots of different self-help and self-development paths. I could get into all of the names of the ones that I tried, but everything kept leading me back to this path. Because after I became an initiate, I still was checking things out. I'm like, well, let me look over here. Let me try a little Tony Robbins, a little Joe Dispenza. Oh, Abraham Hicks cruise. That sounds nice. And everything kept leading me back to this path, because the path of progression is something where after you receive as much as you can receive at that moment, and we do have a limit, we do have a container at any given moment, you can come back and receive more when you're ready, and receive more. And our soul, turns out, needs that in order to be healthy and in order to grow and thrive in this world. You need to constantly be growing and constantly be creating and constantly be receiving more knowledge and more understanding, more wisdom, and serving, and all these things. It's like behind the scenes mechanism and the blueprint of how reality works. So that's how I got to being a guide through a long, arduous, beautiful, challenging, fulfilling journey that got me into a place right now that I really could never have imagined when I started, that being a guide in a holy lineage could be such a possibility, such an honor, and be such a higher calling
Mm.
that I just can't understand how any normal matrix job can give you that sort of feeling of fulfilling your purpose
Mm.
as helping people and saving souls.
I love that. I mean, and our time has whizzed by, but just to pick up on some of those points is that, you're so right that walking the path, you can take as long as you like. It's, and I love that you just, we have some people that walk it very quickly and some people that walk it very, take their time, and that's perfect. And I love that fact that, yeah, you became an initiate and then you went off and tried all these different things, and then you come back to the path. And I think a lot of people will be able to relate to that, in that once you find your path, and once it's something that is deep within, there is nothing that words can't explain it, so thank you for sharing that. And just to end, we're running over time, but just to end, how can people find you if they're out there? Well, let's ask another question as well. They're out there, maybe they have a job, they've got everything that they, like you said, they're quite fulfilled, but they are thinking there's something more. What would you say to them? And then lastly, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that I would say, and this is part of my individuality, is if your soul is curious and if you have come across some information or a person that ignites something within you, and you feel curious, like you want to try something, and you're curious about what's out there and what's beyond your current level of understanding, just give it a try. Take the plunge. It's like a cold plunge, you know? Sometimes we have a little resistance to it. Oh, we don't have time, we don't have money, it's too cold. Just give it a try and experience for yourself what being in this energy, what stepping on this path could feel like. And I promise you, it's going to be a very unique experience and a high vibrational, very high level experience. I would say, yeah, just give it a try. You don't have anything to lose by trying, and you have the world to gain. And if you'd like to get in contact with me, you can reach out via my website. It's getascended.com. You can also find me on Instagram at I am Tatiana Maxim. Hopefully, Ipsis McKay can link or put some written information also about how to get in touch with me. And of course, there's the Modern Mystery School International website, where you can find a local life activation practitioner or a local guide in your area to meet with in person and have a little taste of what we're talking about.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure we're going to get you back on the show to discuss the many other topics that we have on the path. And thank you so much for sharing. And thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thank you, Absisma Kate. I've actually lost the sound from you, but thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor and pleasure. And I will be seeing you soon. Thank you.